Hey everybody, Jake Lyons here, real estate investment advisor in Chicago with Ad Properties and Christie's International, bringing you the first of a series of videos called the Chicago Multifamily Deal of the Day, where I highlight in depth the property from that day's Daily Chicago Multifam Newsletter that I do that seems the most intriguing or interesting or profitable or just worthy of discussion for some reason or another. So, in this maiden voyage of a video here, the property that I want to highlight for today is 5514 West Berenice Avenue. I think I'm saying that Berenice, don't really know how else that would be said. This is in Portage Park. It is listed by Rose Alvarez with Compass. So thank you, Rose, for giving me permission to talk about this property. It's 3 units, but it's technically a legal two flat with a non-conforming garden unit, which is very common. Doesn't tech ever so technically doesn't meet the criteria of the properties that I talk about in my newsletter. That's 3 and 4 unit properties. So normally when I see this come across the ticker, I would, even though it's a good property, I would let it go. But I don't know. For some reason, this one just seems to be pretty worthy of talking about. I think it's really well done in here. I'm going through the pictures here. I'll just go through these. A lot of the finishes, like the wood trim and things like that, are pretty indicative of what would be common for Portage Park. But the kitchens all seem pretty modern and newly finished. Let's just keep going through here just to get a quick general sense of what this place looks like. The bathrooms were nice. Everything's nice. They got the real hood. Anytime you see a hood in a rental grade apartment, that's a sign of quality that you don't see every day in every property. This would be that aforementioned garden unit, which, I mean, at least I'm guessing it is based on the windows. For a garden unit, this is really nice. Garden units definitely tend to be a little dingier and things like that, but they did a really good job making this just super habitable, for lack of a better way to put it. You got your mechanicals, basement stuff, which even that looks pretty good. Really good outdoor space. They did mention in the listing that the garage needs some fixing up. Take their word for it on that. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get into the numbers of what this property is actually looking like. So taxes on it are 8166. I'm in Zenlist right now. That's where I'm looking at it here. It doesn't say it in Zenlist for some reason, but when I look at it over on my MLS, that these taxes do come. There's a asterisk here that's with a homeowner's exemption. So if you are buying this property with the expectation of being an owner occupant, you would also qualify for that in theory. If you're just buying this as a straight up investment, you would not qualify for that. Just going to go ahead and go to the rents here. So right now we don't have a whole lot to go off of because it looks like, at least according to the listing, again, like I don't have any affiliation with this listing. I haven't seen it in person or anything. All I know is what's in front of us, the pictures and what it says on the listing. But so far, it looks like it's vacant except for the second floor, which is getting 1,200 a month on a month to month deal. That's the 3 bed, 1 bath. And from what I know of Portage Park, I already know that that's probably pretty low, especially for how nice the units are, which is another reason why I thought it would be interesting to talk about this property. Since we don't have a ton of information to go off of as far as the current rents, we have to make do with getting our own comps. So my favorite tool to do that is Rentometer. If you are a member of the newsletter or you've attended one of my webinars, you'll have access to my Rentometer. You can come in here and run your own reports based off of my account. You can freeload off of me. I give you full permission to do so. And since this has a mix of different unit types, so we have to do a few different ones. So this one, there's a 2-in-1, a 2 bed, 1 bath, a 3-in-1, and then it looks like I'm gonna assume that is the garden unit. That's a 1 bed, 1 bath. Yes, confirmed. Okay, so come here, run this. I'm gonna go ahead. This is why I like rental meter because it gives you percentiles, and like instead of just average and median, it'll go 25th percentile, 75th percentile. If you run a pro report, it'll go even more in depth than that. I'm pretty comfortable with this being somewhere between median and 75th percentile for all of them, really. I'm just going to go ahead and roll with the 75th percentile on this. So that's why I have 1900 here. And then I'll save you a little bit of time. I did the same thing already with the 3 and 1 and the 1 and 1. And this is what I got. This is actually, I discounted this one quite a bit because it is a garden unit, and even the nicest of garden units, you just have to discount quite a bit for it being a garden unit, especially considering that this is a non-conforming, possibly even straight up illegal garden unit. I don't know. The difference between illegal and non-conforming being, does it have two exits? Does it have all the right things like that? It definitely has the right ceiling height and things like that going for it based from the pictures, but I didn't see any evidence of two egresses, so that it isn't ideal. But in any case, it's still really nice. And if you're willing to take potentially a little bit of risk, talk to an attorney, talk to your insurance person, talk to the lender. That's important too. If you're getting financing, you're going to be financing this based on two units, not three, etc. But assuming all that stuff checks out, I think 950 is probably pretty reasonable to expect for that. And then running the numbers at 25% down, but that actually doesn't matter for these first couple things here. So cap rate is from what I get after inputting everything in here and using just like standard area specific projections for expenditures and insurance and taxes, vacancy rate, things like that. Getting about a little over a 7% cap rate, a 9.3 gross rent multiplier. Anything in single digits is for Chicago is pretty solid in my opinion. And cash flow right now at based on 25% down at 7% interest rate, 30 year mortgage, all that kind of stuff, is you're cash flowing pretty decent on this. Obviously, there's lots of variables at play. You might end up getting more for these places. You might end up getting less for these places. Your interest rate this 7% interest rate, I think, is actually a tad bit high for what it is right now. This is the placeholder that I have, but in any case, this is why I at least thought it was worthy of taking a couple minutes and sharing about. So if this kind of analysis is something that you would find valuable for literally every single property on the market in Chicago as it comes out, I would invite you to come over here. There should be a link somewhere in the vicinity of this video or on my profile or wherever you're watching this that will take you to this page here for the Daily Chicago Multifam Newsletter that I do every single day. And I have different tiers of it. So there's a free Facebook group where I will post 10-day-old analyses, whatever the plural is of that. And then this here, level 2, is a paid newsletter, $29 a month. That one gets you within 3 business days after the property is listed. And then for clients of mine who I'm actually working with on a client agent official capacity, those people get the most timely information possible. They get it within 24 hours, the next business day after the listing comes out. So that's a huge advantage there, along with everything else that you get from working with a multifamily expert as your consultant slash advisor slash agent on these investment properties. So I hope that is helpful. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out.